Phrases and clauses are similar, but different. A phrase is a sequence of two or more words arranged in a grammatical construction and acting as a unit in a sentence. A clause is a syntactic construction containing a subject and predicate and forming part of a sentence or constituting a whole simple sentence. Basically, phrases are part of a sentence, and clauses could be a whole sentence or could just be another part of the sentence. There are many types of phrases and clauses, but let's start with phrases. For example, you can have a noun phrase where the phrase acts as a noun. An example of a noun phrase is, "The crazy old lady in the park feeds the pigeons every day." The crazy old lady in the park becomes the noun phrase because it acts as the subject within the entire sentence. There is also a second phrase existing within this sentence. There's a prepositional phrase, "in the park." That leads us into prepositional phrases, which are phrases that begin with a preposition and are followed by a noun. Prepositional phrases can function as an adjective, adverb, or even a noun. In the case of the sentence before, it is functioning as an adjective because it describes where the old lady is feeding the pigeons. Other noun phrases include appositives and gerunds. An appositive renames a noun. It is not technically modifying it and therefore is not an adjective. An example of an appositive is, "Bob, my best friend, works here." The appositive phrase in this sentence is "my best friend" because it renames who Bob is without actually describing him. A gerund phrase is just a phrase that starts with a gerund, and a gerund is a present verb that ends in ing. An example of a gerund phrase would be, "I love baking cakes." The gerund phrase is baking cakes because it starts with the verb baking in its present form with ing and ends with cakes. In this sentence, the gerund phrase acts as the direct object. Remember, noun phrases are incomplete sentences that act as nouns. Phrases can act as other parts of speech, such as verbs, adverbs, or adjectives. However, I don't think I really need to go over this because it's fairly simple. It's just incomplete sentences working as verbs, adverbs, or adjectives. However, there is a unique situation with adjective phrases known as participles. Participial phrases start with verbs in either the present or the past form. So they start with ing in the present or ed or the past form of the verb in the past. Examples of both forms of participial phrases include, "Crushed to pieces by a sledgehammer, the computer no longer worked," and "I think the guy sitting over there likes you." "Crushed to pieces by a sledgehammer" describes a computer and also starts with the past form of crush. "Sitting over there," it describes the guy who potentially likes you, and it starts with ing, which is the present form of sit. The last form of phrases is infinitive phrases, which are just verb phrases that have the infinitive form of the verb, which includes to do something. That can be to run, to beat, to anything really, as long as it's a verb. I don't feel I really need to go over this because it's also straightforward and simple. When you see to do an action or of some sort, it's an infinitive phrase. Like phrases, clauses can come in many shapes and forms. They can be nouns, adjectives, or adverbs. But don't worry about noun, adjective, and adverb clauses, because if you can identify a group of words acting as a noun, adverb, or adjective, you will only then need to distinguish between a clause and a phrase. And the easy way to tell is that a clause has a subject and a predicate while a phrase is lacking something. However, that's not all that clauses can do. Clauses can also be independent or dependent. Independent meaning that the clause could be its own sentence, and dependent meaning that the clause needs more to it to be a full sentence. Such as the movie ended and after the movie ended. The movie ended is an independent clause because it is a full sentence with a subject and predicate, and after the movie ended, while it still has the subject and predicate, it does not make sense because it needs more to it to make it a full sentence. You need to say, after the movie ended, I bought Curtis Pratt a great present because he's awesome. Well, this is all I've got, and if you need more help, sorry, I got nothing else for you. So, good luck with all of your adventures in the English language.